Welcome to chapter 3 of my RX323 restoration videos. Okay, in this video we go through the rear suspension. We've done all the bushes, put it all back in the car, and most of the front suspension. Just got up to where the brakes are, got a few little things I need to do to button that up. So I go through that, go through my wheels and a few other bits and pieces, got my parts back from powder coating, bolts have been coated and off with electroplaters, so I hope you enjoy it. Okay, I got all my bolts and that back from the platers. I sent the caliper slides that away there, the bolts. So the bolts now come up looking like brand new. So what I'll do now, I've just sorted them all back out. I've put them back on the suspension arm, just bolts go where. So what I'll do now, you can see the sway bar, the washers not redone, the brackets that have all been recoated. So what we've got to do now is put it all back together. I started putting it back together on this one. So you can see the top plate's been done, all the nuts on here have all been redone, recoated. So now I'll show you how I did it. Okay, so what I've done, I was a bit worried about the powder coating, and when this plate here is bolted to there, I didn't want it to be powder coat onto steel, so I've just ground all the powder coat off there, just off the base, because I'm guessing powder coat can crush. If you do the bolts up and then the powder coat crushes after time, after the suspension being pounded up and down, it could loosen off the bolts, and then that's your steering, and then you have no steering. So I've ground all that off. I've cleaned up all the spindle. I've just cleaned up where the seal's going to run as well, and I've just also cleaned up inside the thread there. So when I put the shocker in, that should just turn on there and screw in nicely, which it does. So now we'll put it together. So that's why I haven't been tipping this around that much, because I've got a little bit of oil in here already. So let's put this carefully in the vise, because I don't want to scratch my powder coating. Just gently does it. Like that. So first thing I need is my new strap. Voila, just goes in there like that. The nut. Screws on like that. And now pump stop. Like that. And what do I need now? Spring, new lowered spring. Wunderbar. Goes on like that. So this is one of the top strut things I've already had redone. So I need is my spring seal that sits in there. Sits in there like that. Just trying to line up the old mark there with the top of the spring. Just making sure it doesn't get kinked or anything like that. Put that on there like that. Now, one of the other things I needed to do was modify the top mount. Now, you'll see here that this, it doesn't go on. So I just have to file out the hole just a little bit just to make it fit. So I've just got a little rat's tail file here. Doesn't need much. Okay, so I've just made that hole a little bit round. Before it was a little bit notched, just so it can go over here, and it just sits on this little recess just here. But before I put that on, I need a new thrust washer. So SKF. These aren't cheap. They're about $40 each, but I thought I'd go with a good quality one rather than a Japanese. It's made in China or something anyway, but SKF, we all know SKF good bearings. You can see it comes in 3 pieces, but like all bearings, we must lubricate. So I've got a bit of high temperature bearing grease. Just run that in the race, just a little bit, because it's not going to do much. It's just going to be turning left and right, left and right, left and right. Put that down that. The other one. Put some more in there, not too much. Beautiful. That just goes up there. Sits there. I just how I got that bearing. Well, obviously this is not meant to have like this, so I just rang up the bearing shop. I think it was out in Dandenong, in Melbourne, and just gave them the OD, the outside diameter, and the inside diameter. Yep. Outside diameter of the top of the hat here, and the inside diameter of the shocker strut, and they come up with a bearing and said, yep, there we go, perfect. So it fits perfectly. Now, the old 323 hats look like that, and you can see this one here is quite flat. So what you have to do is, with the old 323 strut mount, is just trim a bit of the rubber off. It's just a bit of a skirt. So I just cut that off. No big deal. And now it should just slide over there. It's a tight fit, which is perfect, because I want it to be nice and snug on top of the strut top. Now you just get your nut, widdly 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 whack. You can hear the tone change as it goes tight. That's it. Nicely done. It's nice and tight. So, the next bit is we'll put the backing plates and that on, and the discs and everything on, and then they're nearly ready to go back in the car. Okay, I'm just about to put these are the backing plates that go on here, and they fit on perfectly, but I've just noticed inside the holes that's down in here that there's a fair bit of powder coat down in the holes. So I'll have to get a tap and dye and just clean all that out, but yeah, so I might have to do that a bit later on. So what I might do now is I'll put in some of the rear suspension, because that's all ready to go. Okay, so here's the lower control arm. You can see I've put it in there. My new bolts and slid it up into place. And the top arm is also in. They're just in there loosely at the moment. I'm going to lower the spring in the rear just to get it just a bit lower, and then that'll go. That'll be able to just go up and just up in there. Then I've got my sway bar, pan and hard rod and stuff like that to go back in as well. So these are all just being held up by the jack and everything at the moment, just so, and holding up the front of the diff just so it doesn't tip forward. So they just slid in quite easily. So I think I'll now give the spring a bit of a chop. It's a bit of guesswork with chopping the springs and see what happens. This is all the suspension's back in. As you can see, I've cut another loop out. So I'm just about to go tighten everything back up again. It's easy to do with the springs. All you have to do is undo this bolt and just lower everything down, and take the spring out and just give it a quick chop. So what I'm about to do now is I'm just going to go around and tighten everything up, make sure everything's tight, and I'll mark everything with the paint pen once I've done it so I know it's tight, and then I'll lower it down and see what height levels I've got. Okay, everything's nipped up now. As you can see, I've marked all the bolts with texture. Not absolutely necessary, but I think it's just good practice. Just if you're ever underneath your car doing something else and you see that the lines have moved, well then you know the bolts have come undone and need to be retorqued up. So I've done mine up using a torque wrench to basically FT, which is just basically a spanner, just as tight as you can get it. You should use a torque wrench, but anyhow. Okay, as you see, taking another loop out of the rear with my precision cutting device. So let's see now. So the front's still the same at 540. And the rear, which is 580, is now 550. So it's dropped down a good 3 centimeters, which is perfect. That'll do. A little bit of rake, I think, is a good look. So that was a bit of mucking around. But anyhow, it's done. Okay, thanks for watching. In the next chapter, I finish off buttoning up the front of the brakes, get all the calipers now all back on, front wheels now back on, and take it for a spin as is with still the 4-cylinder in it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this part of the video, and I'll see you in the next chapter.